Before we get started with the video, I would like to quickly mention that there is a 2024 subscriber decided election form, which in this Google form, you'd be able to fill out who will win each individual swing state based out of a hand-picked bunch of swing states that I have decided to include in this form. A video will be done on these results in the next coming months. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to On Point Politics, and today I want to be talking about a model that I constructed that is going to help me predict the 2024 presidential election results. Now, before we get started with today's video, I hope you would hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss another video that I post. And without further ado, let's get into it. And so right here I have the 2020 election results. You could see that the states vary in margin, depending on their red or blue. And what I did is I basically took the results from 2020 and 2016 and pretty much applied them to a model that I constructed that allows me to project based on the popular vote polling and incumbent presidential party approval rating, and it also grabs the polling average from certain states. And actually, let me change back Wisconsin because Wisconsin should be 0.7. And so it gets the 2016 results, it gets the swing, applies it to the final margin, and it factors in the polling average, as well as the incumbent party approval rating and the swing of the popular vote, including the popular vote polling. And it spits out numbers which I have applied to an electoral map. And what I've done here is essentially I matched the 2020 results. I basically got the 2020, so I got the 2012 and 2016 results and got their polling averages from election day and the swing. And what I did is I basically created a poll misadjustment. So obviously the model wasn't 100% accurate to 2020. Some states it was actually right dead on. It was actually really close to being correct, but others it wasn't. You can see the closer I am to number one, the more accurate the model was to certain states. And some of them were kind of accurate, but others really weren't. And so basically, there's a certain part in the equation that gets multiplied by this number, and that number sets it to the margin that was resulted in 2020. And kind of doing some trial and error, I ended up coming up with an average of poll adjustment misses from the model from 2020 and basically applied them to the equation over here. And so it spits out an electoral college result of Trump actually winning 312 electoral votes to 226, just like I've had in my last video. In my last video, I said that he was going to win Michigan and Arizona by tilt margins, but the model actually has him performing exceptionally well. Currently, right now, he's polling by 1.1% in RCP. That would be a 5.6 swing towards the Republican Party. According to 538, Biden's average approval rating right now is exactly -18. And the polling averages that I have here right now have actually come from election prediction officials' forecast for 2024. A lot of the polling averages were hard to find for certain states, and I wanted to get the most accurate numbers for a video. So for now, I decided to just pop in his averages and his average polling numbers from his January 1st forecast. However, next month's forecast using this model, I will update my own polling results myself. And so this is the map that the Google Sheet basically spits out. He's winning Wisconsin by 4, winning Michigan by 2, winning Pennsylvania by 3.5, winning North Carolina by 7, winning Florida by almost 12. He's winning Georgia by almost 4, wins Texas by 9, wins a lot of the deep red states by pretty good margins, does very well in a state like Kansas and a state like South Carolina. Ohio's a 13-point win. Iowa's a 12-point win, and Nevada is a 4-point win, including with Arizona almost being a likely margin. Now, for some reason in the model, some states do tend to lean more left or right, but that really just depends on the polling averages. Like if the polling averages for New Hampshire were significantly closer, you'd probably see um Biden probably performing a lot worse, but because of the big trend away from Trump in 2026, from 2016 to 2020, and factoring in with good Biden polling numbers, even with a bad disapproval, he is still only losing it by 6 points, or he's still winning it by 6 percentage points. And it's actually funny because if I actually match this to what I've said in my best case scenario for Biden video, I have said that Biden's best case scenario is a 2 point victory in the popular vote. And so if you were to actually have him winning the popular vote by 2.5 points, and at this point his approval rating would probably go down to maybe -13. That's probably what I would see him at. More than likely, it would be a -13 approval rating, or actually, maybe we could do like -14. That's probably what he would be on an election day. And the model shows that he wins Wisconsin by a tilt margin. He wins Michigan by basically what he won it by in 2020. He wins Pennsylvania by the same amount. Trump still wins North Carolina by 2 points. He wins Georgia by a lean margin, barely wins Arizona, and barely wins Nevada. So this is basically what the model spit out. Colorado is over a 15-point win. So it would be a very similar election to 2020. It would be very similar. New Hampshire would vote massively to the left. And so Florida would still be a likely margin. Texas would fall under that 5 point category. And a lot of these Republican states would fall into likely territory going into this election. And so basically, if Biden were to match his 2020 performance and have the same approval rating, which I believe he was up by 5 points in 2020 in the national popular vote. I think he was at 52 and his disapproval was 47. You can see that it is not looking really good for Trump. Trump actually loses all of these swing states by quite a few percentage points, and loses Wisconsin, or loses Texas, excuse me, by about 2 points, only wins Florida by like a point, loses North Carolina, wins New Hampshire by a safe margin, wins Virginia by a safe margin, almost wins Minnesota by a safe margin. And so clearly this model shows that if Biden kind of performs in line with his popular vote total, he will in fact win the presidential election. Even if you apply his -18 approval rating from 538, he would still win the election fairly comfortably. Now, again, the polling averages could make a difference. If the polling average does have him up, has Trump up by a couple of more points, then these results would be skewed a little bit. And as of right now, Georgia is voting to the left of Arizona in this polling data, in this, model for now. But I feel like that is going to change as we keep updating these polling averages. It's not going to really be exactly the same. But right now, if you basically include, the RCP polling average, which has Trump up by 1.1% and Biden's approval rating on -18. Again, these averages will be updated to more averages from different websites as the election cycle goes on. It does show Trump winning the Electoral College fairly easily with 312 electoral votes. And this is the marginal result that we get from that. And so that's basically it. I just kind of wanted to show you guys this forecast that I have for the 2020 election. I know a lot of people in the comments have been saying that, oh, well, you're kind of biased and stuff like that, and you're kind of just voting, you're kind of just selecting states because you feel like they're going to go a certain way. So I wanted to basically construct this model to kind of show that I am trying to be empirical as possible. Obviously, I do have my personal biases towards a certain candidate in the 2024 presidential election, but I did want to step up my game and really show that I do have numerical analysis when it comes to my election predictions. And so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend so you don't miss another video that I post. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.